I want to quickly address two solos that I have not included on either one of these lists: Transylvania Boogie and Son of Mr. Green Jeans. I love both of those and think the guitar playing on both of them are some of Frank's best. However, I don't consider them solos as much as Frank just riffing and soloing over an extended song that has all these predetermined changes. A lot of Transylvania Boogie, if you listen to the Mothers from the 60s, that song is played almost like this, but the horns play the entire thing and it's, the written charts. And Son of Mr. Green Jeans obviously has these progressions that happen every time. And Frank is obviously, he's soloing over it the whole time, but it doesn't really feel as much like a solo as much as like him just shredding while the song band plays these changes. So I'm picking nits with that, but those are the nits I'm going to pick, and that's why those two solos are on either one of these lists. Hello, people. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Shaggy, the opinionated hippie. And this is my second video, part 2 of my favorite Frank Zappa solos released while he was alive. And this is the list of solos that were released as solos only. The previous list was were the solos that were contained in songs. Let's take Inca Roads, for example. One size fits all. You have Inca Roads, the song. You got the intro. You got the solo. You got the rest of the song. This list is like, for example, let's take Shut Up and Play Your Guitar. The title track of that is an Inca Roads solo from the 79 tour, the live 79 tour. All tours are live. But it's not Inca Roads. You don't get the beginning, you don't get the end, you just get the solo. You don't even get the da-na-na-na-na, bum-ba that he would play on guitar. You just get the solo. And he did that a lot. He has, essentially 5 albums: Shut Up and Play Your Guitar, Shut Up and Play Your Guitar Some More, Return of the Son of Shut Up and Play Your Guitar, Guitar, and Transfusion, which are nothing but guitar solos. There's a song or two in there like Treacherous Cretins or Deathless Horsey, instrumental songs, but you don't get the songs. For the most part, it's just the solos from songs. This is that list of my favorite solos that are just solos. Number 10, 555, the opening track on Shut Up and Play Your Guitar. This is just a nice little short 2.5 minute. It's a Conehead solo from the 79 tour, the instrumental Conehead that you can hear on Halloween 77, not the Conehead that you would hear on You Are What You Is. It starts off, it's in 13, I think. I think the entire thing's in 13, but it starts off with this like just this riff that Frank rides for a lot, for a couple minutes, not a couple minutes, like 20 seconds or so before he starts going off into, guitar exploration zone. But what I really like about this is the backing keyboards of Mars and Wolf give it this very spacey, like Deep Space Nine, Quasar type nebula feel. Not like a Star Wars shoot 'em up space thing, but like a space exploring 2001 Space Odyssey type thing. And it's a really, has a neat sound, a neat vibe, a neat energy. It's a great way to kick off the Shut Up and Play Your Guitar albums. Just a fun, aggressive solo. Number 10. Number 9, the theme from Burnt Weenie Sandwich. This is about 4 minutes, just over 4 minutes. The song itself has like some percussion in the beginning and end that obviously don't belong to the solo. It sounds like the solo was like a studio jam that Frank took the solo out and then, turned it into just this song. It has a very kind of slinky, slithery vibe. I always imagine like Frank is on the back of like a dragon, and the dragon's like going in and out of the water and around boats and then on land around trees, and he just has this slithery vibe for like almost its entire length. I think it's one of Frank's most interesting like early career stage solos. It works great on the album. It's kind of right smack dab in the middle of side 1 amidst all this instrumental, like more classical symphonic type things. But it's just a great solo also. Theme from Burnt Weenie Sandwich. Number 8, On the Bus or Toto Line from Joe's Garage. This is on side 2 of the first Joe's Garage album. It follows Wet T-Shirt Night, or Fembot in a Wet T-Shirt. It's a great solo. It's part of an Inca Road solo from the 79 tour. The entire Inca Road solo is over 8 minutes long, and it was released as Occam's Razor on the One Shot Deal album. This is just about 3.5 minutes of that 8+ minute solo. And it's really neat to hear this first and then like get to know this solo and then go listen to Occam's Razor and realize how it fits in there, or vice versa. But like invest some time in one of them only before you listen to the other, because I think it's neat to see how Frank uses, takes something that's 8.5 minutes long and pulls out 3.5 minutes to make a song. It does have a little narration in the middle of it that has to do with the Joe's Garage. But it works anyways. It's a phenomenal solo. All the Inca Road solos from 79 are amazing. A lot of them have been released in various incarnations as just solos. All the title tracks of the Shut Up and Play Your Guitar series, each of those three is an Inca Road solo. But this is just Frank's editing job to pull out this and make it its own song is phenomenal. It's a great solo on the bus. 7 variations on Sinister 3. This is on the guitar album. And this is from an Easy Meet in 1984. And when Frank starts his solo, he kind of riffs on the melody of the third movement of Sinister Footwear, which is on You Are What You Is, which was a guitar solo that Steve Vai transcribed that he turned into a song. So you have a guitar solo that turned into a song, and Frank is riffing on that song in this as he solos around it. Scott Tunis on bass is very much also engaging in referencing the third movement. And what I really like about this song a lot, and what I like about the song that follows this, the next solo, is it gives Frank kind of constricts him a little bit in what he can do. Obviously, he didn't need to reference the song and he can do whatever he wants. But because he kind of ties himself to this melody early on and is kind of messing with it, it's kind of neat to see him kind of toying with something that already exists and having fun with that. And the band, of course, responding to what he does. It's a great solo. Even if you don't know the third movement of Sinister Footwear, it's a great solo. But if you do know that, I think it's even better. And it's a really early in the tour 84 solo, which is almost begging for ZFT to release a really good 84 show and kind of correct the course on that tour, which I don't think has a lot of good stuff out there. There's a lot of really good November 84 shows that I think if they were to be released in their entirety have quality solos like this. But this is a really good solo, variations on Sinister 3. Number 6, the Shake Your Booty Tango. And the reason I like this is similar to the reason why I like variation on Sinister 3, is it's a tango. Most of it's a tango. And so Frank is constricted with that tango rhythm, and he's very much, playing the tango, and he's going with that vibe. And it's, obviously he had decided beforehand that this is what the band wanted to do. This usually occurred at the end of A Little House I Used to Live in the 78 tour, the winter 78 tour. And so this is not the only, there's other tangos out there. So this was something Frank was experimenting with and enjoyed. And, as the solo would progress, eventually it starts to get spacey and the tango's, kind of just left behind and Frank's just kind of riffing. But it's just a really neat solo because of that tango. It's a tango. Frank, most of his solos, especially as he got towards the 80s, are these blank slates where he's using loops or he's just kind of starting from scratch and going from there. And so to have him kind of boxed in this very, regulated rhythmic structure just adds some more weight and makes it more interesting. The Shake Your Booty Tango off Shake Your Booty. I don't think I mentioned that. Number 5, Them or Us, the title track off the Them or Us album. This is a 1982 Black Page number 2 solo. It's got what is now called, or what I call the Them or Us vamp after the song, which is that dun-nut, lots of space for Frank to solo in before the band comes around again with that dun-nut. And then as the solo progressed, the dun-nut eventually doubles and kind of picks up a little speed and happens more regularly. But all of these solos from the Black Page number 2 in 82 were phenomenal. The version off stage 5 was on my previous solos list. But really, it's just the way Frank has this very regimented riff, but there's so much space between the reoccurrence of the dunna that Frank just goes all over the place in it. Despite the sort of that regularity of that riff. All of these solos are so different and go so many different places. I almost put Move It or Park It on this list, which is on the guitar album, which is another Black Page #2 solo from this tour. I didn't because I didn't want to overwhelm this list with Black Page #2s. But if Frank were to release, I think every solo, if ZFT were to release every Black Page #2 solo from the 1982 tour only as solos, I think I would be very happy and I would love that album. But as it is, I absolutely love this solo. It's a lot of heavy chording in it. Frank does a lot of things, very experimental. Frank was his guitar sound in '82 was like everything he learned from Baloo and everything he learned from Steve Vai, he combined into his own unique interpretation of their noise-making, shredding skills. Number 5. Number 4, Canarsie off Shut Up and Play Your Guitar Some More. Or maybe the last one. It's on one. It's on that 3-disc set. I always forget if it's 2 or 3. This is a weird track, and the reason I like this is because it is a weird track. I'm usually not a fan of his Zenochrony tracks, where he takes a rhythm, the guitar solo, and he lays it over different sort of like rhythmic sections or bass sections or whatever. So what this is it seems like the guitar solo and the drums, Vinnie Colaiuta on drums, are the only thing from the actual show. Barrow is the bass player, but he's not the bass player on this. Patrick O'Hearn is. And O'Hearn's playing this kind of 13-ish vamp at times, but he has this very vamp that he repeats. Cucurullo is on sitar. And the way Frank's solo kind of works with it and sometimes doesn't and is out of sync and sometimes in sync, and Frank's phrasing is like kind of some of his more denser stuff. He's got some stuff in the middle where he's really doing a lot of like just like really tight chords, like these like very staccato, like broken type chord playing. It's all over the place. But just the sort of like disconnect between O'Hearn's bass and what Colaiuta's doing, which is just madness at this point. He's essentially soloing. And how Frank is just kind of weaving in and out of all of this. This is one of those solos, like the first, couple years, I liked it. And as every year goes by, it just gets farther and farther up my favorite solo list. Probably wouldn't make it, might make it to 3, probably would never make it to 1 or 2 on this list. But I love this solo. And it's just, the more I listen to it, the more I think it rewards me for listening to it. Canarsie. And it's from, I think I said on the Shut Up and Play Your Guitar video that it's follows 555 in the live context. And I'm not sure that's right anymore. It might actually be from the Easy Meet from this solo. I was looking for my tape of it. I couldn't find it. I was going to listen to it. I did a review of this with some other people back in the 90s. It's up on, if you Google, Shall We Trade Our Tapes Seriously? That's my page from back in the 90s. We did a review of that, and Canarsie isn't mentioned in there, though I know the 555 is. But I think it's part of the 555 because it was a really long, just 13 inspired jam that occurred early in that show. But again, I couldn't verify it. But if you know, let me know in the comments. Number 3, Why Johnny Can't Read. This is another Shut Up and Play Your Guitar solo. The last actually live solo on, I guess, side 5 of the 6 vinyl set. This is a Pound for a Brown solo from '79. So it's one of those that kind of just starts from scratch because everybody solos and then Frank just kind of builds his from nowhere. And this is like, you want to know why Johnny can't read? Because he has no idea what he wants to do. He's going to do this for a while, and then he's going to do this for a while, and then he's going to start doing this weird stuff for a while, and then he's going to like completely switch gears and be over here. Like, this is one of the most fragmented, disjointed, all over the place solos Frank has played. That was not that uncommon. Like, if you listen to his tapes, there are shows where Frank never really finds his groove on solos, and he kind of will start and like he's up here and he's maybe playing really high and trying to figure out some motifs to run with, and they don't work, so he scratches it and starts playing chords, and then he starts working the whammy bar. And like, this is one of those that has that disjointed feel, but it all works. Like, it just works. It's like an end of the show. Frank's going to get out everything he has left in him and just leave it on the table. There's like a cold ending. At one point, Frank just gets bored and plays this blues, like, this blues closing riff, and it just ends cold. But it is such a weird, disjointed, almost dyslexic solo that I think the title fits it perfectly, because I can't figure out what this is about. Number 2, Return of the Son of Shut Up and Play Your Guitar, the title track off the third of those, an Inca Road solo, 8 minutes and 45 seconds long. It is a little patient. It is not very hurried at first. It's got Caliuta and Barrow as your rhythm section, so that's just manic energy for the most part. But Frank is kind of patient in that manic energy for quite a while. And then right around the 6-minute mark, it gets evil and kind of sinister for a while. And then it goes into like a swing for a while, and it kind of just gets where you want to dance, Flapper Girls and all that kind of stuff before it ends. I mean, it's 8 minutes and 45 seconds. And you want to just grab a drink or grab some other thing that will make you enjoy yourself and kick back and put your feet up and just go wherever Frank takes you. It's like that Willy Wonka boat ride in the original Willy Wonka. Just get on the boat and crazy, weird things are going to happen, but just enjoy it and just trust that you're safe. And yeah, it gets evil and it gets scary for a while, but we're going to a good place, So that's the way I see that. And then number 1, if you've watched most of my videos, I think I've mentioned this in quite a bit of them. It's Rat Tamago off Shake Your Booty. This is a Torture Never Stops solo from the Winter 78 tour, the same tour from Hammersmith Odeon, the same tour that the Torture Never Stops and You Can't Do That on Stage Volume 1. That one is like 8 minutes long. This is 5.5 minutes long, almost 6 minutes. It is just... I have this theory that like a lot of Frank songs, it's not a theory, well, I don't know what it is, but so Frank would write a song and he would tweak it on almost every tour, and some of these songs would reach a state where they weren't tweaked any further, but some of the songs never got stopped being tweaked. Torture Never Stops is one of them. 75, it debuted as a blues jam with 12-bar blues with Beefheart. In 75, 76, it was a lot more low key, dun, 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 doo, 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 kind of like, a little sinister and evil, but not quite as aggressive. 77, 78, it was dun, 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 it was bigger and more of like an arena rock type thing. That is when it achieved its perfect state. To me, the 78 tour in particular, because that's when he added also the Chattanooga Choo Choo thing after, I think like the second chorus, the da 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 flies all, that 78 version was the sort of platonic ideal of Torture Never Stops. And all of those solos are ridiculously good. The 77 version are good too. They're pretty much identical to 78. They're just lacking that Chattanooga Choo Choo thing. And you can hear a bunch of those on 5 of those on Halloween 77, and all of those are amazing. But after this tour, when Torture came back in like 80, everything after that he would tweak the verses, and he had that little flies all green and buzzing, and then he would mess with the verses. All of those were moving away from perfection, and Frank just tweaking it. He'd already achieved perfection. Now you're just going to have fun. This, to me, is the perfect song in its perfect form, and Rat Tamago may be the perfect solo. So I love it. But that's it. Those are my top 10. I am going to do one more video in which I combine these two videos, the two lists, and make my ultimate top 10 list. So again, some of these are going to be on it. Some of those are going to be on it. We'll see where that ends up. And then after that, I'm going to start the albums released after Frank passed, starting with the end, going towards number 1, even though that is still a living list. But let me know if you have favorite solos and I missed one of them. Please let me know in the comments and I'll check it out. I've really kind of reevaluated some stuff that people have, like apostrophe. Nobody agrees with me on where apostrophe should be. So I've been trying to re-listen to that a lot and rediscover the joy of that album. So thank you guys for the comments. But that's it for now. I'm done. Take care, y'all. Peace. Talk to you later.